Hey, what's up guys? This is Anthony from Anthony's Customs, and for this review, we are looking at the Marvel Legends High Evolutionary, part of the Fantastic Four retro carded wave. And this figure features, I think, maybe except for maybe the feet or fists, an entirely new sculpt. I don't think we've seen these parts anywhere else. I could be mistaken for a couple of things here and there, but all in all, it's a whole new sculpt, so that's always a good thing. Unless the sculpt is no good. This sculpt is pretty good. There's some good stuff about it for sure. There's definitely some stuff to talk about though, so let's go ahead and get it off the stand and take a closer look. This guy stands just about, let's say 6.5 inches, about halfway up the fin. That's 6.5 inch mark. It's gonna be about 16.5 centimeters right there. And like I said, lots of new sculpt work here. That's pretty cool. Unfortunately, there's virtually no paint on this figure and it makes it look incredibly cheap. And I'm getting really tired of that being a problem for collectibles that are collectibles. Okay, question of the day. How do you guys feel about the paint situation? Is it wearing on you also? Like, new sculpt is nice, but if it's not painted, it looks like a kid's toy and I don't want it. And that's what this figure is. The only paint we have, not counting the eyes, is the silver dot situation going on here and the silver up here. That's it. That's it. For me, I'm just about done with it. Like, I'm gonna keep reviewing Legends because it's my job, partly. But if I was just a regular collector, I would pretty much be hanging up the Marvel Legends hat, other than like very specific releases. This is starting to really bother me, especially given the price hike. Okay, so let's talk about the aesthetic on this guy. I do like the fact that we have new sculpt here. You can see the thighs are actually sculpted to look like muscular superhero legs. The lower legs, yeah, the boots throw off the look a good amount, but they are sculpted nicely, so that's okay. He's very knock-kneed looking. Hopefully that can be fixed with a hair dryer, but once that's fixed, the legs will look fine, so that's alright. The arms have technically a good sculpt for like the details. The muscles are in there where they belong. It's still very bubbly looking. Like, why can't we get big shoulders on Marvel Legends? Why can't we have shoulders that suit the characters, that fit the characters? I know this guy's not always drawn super bulky, but a little bit of bulk wouldn't be bad. He's got very, very thin arms. Compared to what he could have. At least fix the shoulders a little bit of bulk, and also they're still forward from the neck. It's like they're taking a few steps in the right direction, but then also not. This is a very different look than this. This is very shiny. This is not. This is very dull and drab looking. There's a big crack going through here. I mean, it's not an actual crack, but it's from the marbled plastic they used. I have that going on there. And all over on the face. You can barely tell what's going on with the face, which is also a lot shinier than the rest of the body, than the rest of the red parts. Well, I guess the face and this match pretty well. The paint job for the rivets, holy crap. I mean, I know they're not rivets, but oh, it's so sloppy and not opaque. You can see the red poking through all the way around. It looks so bad. Same thing up here on the head. It's nowhere near opaque. It's got like a pinkish hue to it because there's not enough silver. The eyes would have been okay. Like, they're fine. They're alright. But a little bit of something in the face would have helped to make that look better. It just looks so cheap. Not having anywhere near enough paint on this thing makes it look so cheap. Goodness. I'm just so tired of saying the same stuff over and over again with Marvel Legends. Goodness. Like, this is the only paint job we have, and it's just so sloppy and poorly done. They'd have been better off just doing it with a Sharpie. I like most of the sculpt work on here. It's a lot of steps in the right direction for the sculpt, but there's no paint that's worth speaking of. So, 5 out of 10 for the aesthetic. I can't do it. If you're not going to paint it, then just don't do it. I'm at that point. Some paint. Somewhere. These aren't dollar store figures. These are $25 a piece. I'm very curious to see how the Marvel Legends landscape changes as they hit that $25 price point. Are there enough people completely bought into the line to keep the line going at that price point? Or are we going to see a lot more shelf warming? Or are we going to see an uptick in quality? I'd be okay with that. I don't mind paying $25 if I'm getting $25 worth of product. Okay, let's talk about accessories. We have the fist hand and the open hand that come out on them in the package. Then we get the alternative hands for either side. So that's it. 5 out of 10. Not that he needs more, but it's still not a lot of accessories. Okay, as for articulation, we have the double ball peg situation for the head, which is, again, a good step in the right direction. However, they have managed to make that lower ball peg functionally useless. He has almost no range again. I mean, compared to what a double ball peg can be, he's got very, very little range. And it's because they keep making the opening in the neck just barely bigger than the peg part. The ball should be as big as it possibly can be, and the opening should be as big as it possibly can be to keep the ball in, and that's it. They have so much neck surrounding that peg that it's basically functionless. It doesn't have much range at all. So it's defeating the purpose of doing the double ball peg. I'm going to say they took my advice and started using the double ball peg as a standard joint. I'm going to just assume that. It's not likely the case, but I'm going to say that that's the case because I'm hoping they're going to listen to me in opening up that hole a little bit too. The good thing is, I'm not going to do it. The good thing is, on a joint like this that doesn't function, if you really wanted to, and I'm not saying you should, do this at your own risk. If you heat this, pull out the double ball peg, trim some of that plastic, not too much or the whole thing will fall out all the time. You trim some of that plastic, you're going to get incredibly better range. It doesn't take much. It doesn't take much at all. And you can see how thick that neck is. You could easily trim that and get so much better range. Don't know why they're not doing it. It's not like they can't make thin parts. They make thin parts all the time. I think, and the one thing he said, like 1 millimeter is about the, like at the tip of some. Anyway, it can be done. Okay, shoulder range. Oh. I don't know if they can't go or if mine are stuck. They don't feel stuck, so I think they just can't go. That's what I'm getting out of mine right now. Fresh out of the package, it's not stuck. It moves. I can feel the like slight ratchet. Okay. That's gonna take some man strength. I put a lot of force on that. It didn't break, didn't feel like it was really going to, but it took a lot of force to get it up. But it does work, that's what she said. It's fine. It's going to be okay. Just give it a lot of force and you can get the shoulder all the way up. So that's fine. You do get your rotation, not counting where the vest is. Bicep swivel is fine. Double jointed elbow on this guy is a good one. I like that. That's very nice. Wrists have a swivel and a hinge. I don't know what's going on with the joints from Hasbro, but I can't get him to barely move. All right, diaphragm joint on this guy. It's acceptable. You're not getting a ton of range out of it, but you do get some. That's all right. I don't believe there's anything down here for the torso. You do get a waist twist underneath the skirt though, so if you want that, you can do that. I don't know how effective that's going to be for anything, but you can do it. Now we do have decent range for the legs. That's better than 45. I will definitely take that. Bringing them forward, the skirt's definitely going to get in the way because there's no slit on the side. Like, these are action figures. We don't need to, like, okay, so the skirt's not supposed to have a slit. Okay, but this is an action figure. His leg's not supposed to have a slit either, but it does. So how about we make it so that we can raise the legs and pose them? Like, you can, but it's jamming this thing up. So, and stretching this. Doesn't need to do that. You can get the leg almost horizontal. It goes back a little bit. Thigh swivel is fine. Double jointed knee is good. I really like the sculpt of these legs. It's so good. So nice. Doesn't even take that much, but you see how it's bigger than down here? The leg should taper overall from thigh down to the ankle, and it should pinch in at the knee and the ankle. This guy does a good job of that, not counting the boots, of course. You do get a boot swivel, the ankles go reasonably far forward, all the way back, and you get a good ankle rocker. So, ultimately, the articulation on this guy is good. It's just that neck is very, very blah. Same thing with the torso, actually. They're doing the double ball peg thing, but they're not doing it right. So we're heading there, but it's not where it should be. And I'm starting to realize the more Marvel Legends I review in a row, the lower my ratings go for each one. Because I'm seeing the same problems time and time again, over and over and over and over and over again. So that's a bummer. I didn't mention, by the way, I do think he has a really great head sculpt. That's a good one. Whoever did that head sculpt did a good job. Like that a whole bunch. Okay, so articulation on this guy. I'll give it a 7. The torso and the neck should be a lot better. Everything else is fairly standard there, so that's whatever. But yeah, it's another figure where it's like, just throw some paint on it. The sculpt is fantastic. But if there's no paint on it, it doesn't look like a collectible. It looks like a hunk of plastic. It looks cheap. And frankly, it doesn't matter if it's not cheap to make, because if it looks cheap, nobody's going to want to buy it, or at least not enough people. So it needs to have paint on there. That's my stance. That's definitely opinion, but there is some objectivity there because collectibles should have paint. Molded plastic is not what things look like, so that's my take. You guys can argue about it in the comment section below amongst yourselves. I'll participate if I see any particularly interesting comments. I'll give it a final verdict of 8 out of 10. It's got a really nice sculpt overall and decent enough articulation. It just really, really needs paint. Really needs paint. Okay, thanks for watching, guys. If you enjoyed the video, please do give it a thumbs up. If you didn't, that's okay, you can give it a thumbs down. And if you haven't subscribed, you might want to. I have new videos almost every single day, and thousands already on the channel, so make sure you come back for all of that. In the meantime, keep collecting.